Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your awkward and serotonin deprived friend. And today's video is going to be a chill get ready with me while I talk about steps you can take to realize your New Year's resolution and move past just writing them down and doing it for 3 days and quitting. I've been there before, we've all been there before. These are just information I've gathered and systems I've created to help me, a fellow procrastinator, to move beyond a rut I'm in or start a new project and event in my life that I've always wanted to. I really hope these steps and points that I'm going to talk about will bring your goals and New Year's resolution into fruition. So without further ado, let's just get started. Personally, I think this first point is going to be the most important one, and that is to check yourself for what you want versus what you pretend to want. And this should come from a place of no judgment because you're really just trying to be as honest as you can with yourself. With this question, you're really just trying to figure out the priority for all your goals and acknowledge that it's okay not to be able to do everything that you want to do. If you're confused about how to prioritize or categorize all of your goals, think of all the New Year's resolution that you've set in the past years. And for each goal, you have to check yourself by checking your history of how many times did you see something through versus how many times you quit. And this will help you determine the priority of your goals. I think this is a really great way to help you figure out how to section your goals into what you really want versus that basket of goals you pretend to want. Now that we've got your goals into different priority boxes, let's talk about the likelihood of the goals actually happening. So the likelihood of a goal happening is usually based on past experiences, and your mind is going to calculate how much you can do today based on your past experiences. For example, think of that one goal that's been on your New Year's resolution list every single year. From learning a new language to learning a new skill, or something as simple as drinking water every single morning when you wake up. No matter how grand or how trivial your goal is, you might think blowing off one afternoon of meditation for a friend seem to be a pretty small thing in the grand scheme of things, but it's actually a pretty big deal. Each small promise you break carry covenant weight that would shape your past experiences and in turn shape your regular future behavior. For each time you break a promise to yourself, it'll just get a little harder to break that habit later on. If you don't push through the previous set standard for yourself, you will keep reverting back to the same pattern, which is what we call a rut, and why people can't seem to get past their New Year's resolution. So naturally, you would then ask, what can we do to help us reshape our mental muscle to break this habit? If you can't promise yourself something significant immediately, like an intense HIIT workout every day, then start with something small. For example, this could be not touching your phone for 20 minutes before going to bed, or setting a time in a day where you read 10 pages out of the book that you've always wanted to finish. No matter how inconsequential this task or goal may be, don't break that promise to yourself for months or even for a whole year, because this is going to be the thing that would help you reshape and reset your mental state. And remember, each task or promise should be incremental until eventually you get to your goal of doing that intense HIIT workout. Doing all these little tasks is just going to help you reset your mental state systematically so you don't overwhelm yourself. I can promise you that if you have 5 major things on your list, you're not just going to suddenly wake up in a new year feeling more motivated, because in the past, your body doesn't even remember a period of time when you could do something small. The truth is, you don't just wake up with confidence and the discipline to see things through unless you make this a condition that your body understands and remembers over time. A lot of people are always asking, how do you do this and how do you do that? When in reality, most of the time, it's just doing the most boring work and seeing that through. Just remember that the one thing that's standing between you and your goal is your ability to keep all the small promises to yourself. And on really shitty days, sometimes it's more important to show up for yourself than it is to actually complete that goal. With all these little small goals and promises in mind, my next point is to strive practicing being who you are today and not what you dream of being. It's so important to acknowledge that the present you is doing enough and doing the best she can for a better future self. I think that if you strive to be who you are today, you are essentially adding weight into all these little goals and tasks that you've made for yourself, because you understand that these are important little steps to take in order to fulfill the bigger goal. The thing about practice is that it's not perfect. You're going to fall off the wagon again and again, and it's perfectly fine to hold yourself accountable, but it's not okay to shame yourself into picking up the pace again. I understand that shame can be a very powerful motivational tool, but it kind of defeats the purpose of getting things done if you feel bad about it every single time, every single day. My third point is setting boundaries. Now, this one is a really rewarding and beneficial tool to master. This will not only assist you in achieving your goals, but also maintain healthy relationships with other people by avoiding misunderstandings about your time. Know that just because there is a good cause in front of you, it does not mean you should jump straight into signing your name on the sheet and committing. You just have to be realistic with what you can achieve in the time of day you have. It's always better to stick with one good cause than be semi-present in 5 different ones anyways. You'll end up training your mental state much more if you show up consistently and committing only to one thing rather than burning yourself out and quitting altogether. The one common denominator for all the previous points I've made is honesty towards yourself. You wouldn't even be able to get past step 1, which is categorizing what you want versus what you pretend you want, without this element of integrity. And in step 2, where we make all these small goals to reset our past experiences to change the future, how could we expect to hold ourselves accountable without honesty and understand the difference between I can't do it today versus I don't want to do it? And to no surprise, we also see this honesty component in step 3, where we're supposed to set our boundaries. Needless to say, it's simply impossible to execute these steps without the presence of your inner moral compass. So I guess you can say there is a step before step 1, which is step 0, having honest conversations with yourself. It's actually pretty amazing how quick our minds can come up with excuses when we're trying to get ourselves out of a guilt bind. Which brings me to my last and final point of this video, which is start now. Start today. Whatever your goal is, there's no time like the present, as cliche as that sounds. So many people who's found their passion have only one regret, and that is not starting earlier. For me, I wish I started doing makeup earlier and not wait until I was good at it. Because I can assure you, when I started, I was pretty bad at doing my makeup. Like, if I look back at the first few makeup looks I've ever did and posted, I've definitely come a long way. And really, no one's just born good at doing something. Even geniuses have to practice a lot. And if anything, they practice harder than anybody to be the best at something. So if at first you start, you don't see your best work, don't let that discourage you. You just gotta take these things one step at a time. And before you know it, you'll see a massive progress from where you were months or even weeks ago and who you are today. And I understand that there may be certain factors that's out of your control that's stopping you from pursuing your dreams now, but I can guarantee you that there's a certain point in your life where the only person stopping you is yourself, and that's when you really have to start, and it's never too late. Goals should not have expiration dates. They're not like a can of tuna. They're always going to be there if only you will grab it. And if you didn't start earlier, you don't have to beat yourself over and over again in the future for not starting earlier. Sometimes you just have to get through several hoops of challenges to get to the point of where you are today. Every time you beat yourself up, it is a waste of valuable time you could be using to build yourself up. And this kind of mindset in itself is a goal. So remember to practice this every day and remind yourself that present you is enough and you are exactly where you need to be today to get to your future goal. So this is the finished look. I hope you learned something today and enjoyed getting ready with me. I know this topic is pretty heavy because it covers a lot about mental struggles and overcoming barriers to stay motivated, but these are just themes and topics that I enjoy covering. So I just hope you enjoy listening to me talk about it as much as I enjoy sharing. I love talking about systems and strategies to help me, a mentally crippled person, get through each day step by step. So I hope that it's helpful for any of you guys experiencing very similar situations, or if you know someone who needs this sort of help, then you can always share this. I hope you guys are doing well. Take care of yourselves. And as usual, if you like any of my content and you want to support me, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! To waste my